during and after and immediately after World War II. Wow. There are other positive things that can come about through declassifying these technologies. In terms of chronovision, imagine going to a virtual library or museum where rather than looking at a painting or opening up a book to read about the signing of the U.S. Constitution, you can look at a hologram where it would be rendered in moving three-dimensional images. Why should I and the other people who were brought inside Project Pegasus be the only human beings inspired to study and appreciate history as a result of having the opportunity to see such images? Why shouldn't every school child around the world be able to see the living past by being able to go into a museum or library in their country where you can literally pull up images and see William Shakespeare writing one of his plays, or Cicero giving a speech, or the Polish infantry, fighting their way up Mount Cassini during the Battle of Italy. Okay, there are a multiplicity of inspiring scenes in history that are infinitely available, perpetually available, and infinite in number to inspire society, particularly school children, in all that the human past has held. Now, with those opportunities comes obvious constraints. For example, with teleportation and other forms of time travel, we don't want to allow it to society at large to have general access to it because the timelines would all become chaotic. If people could visit the past as regularly as they can go on a summer vacation, everybody's going to have an impact on the timelines, and with enough people doing that, we're going to have basically quantum chaos.
Andy?
Yes.
We're going to have to cut it short now because we're actually over our time, but that's okay. Could you give out your websites and how people can contact you or talk to you?
Right. My time travel research and the story of my quest to go back and determine what happened on Project Pegasus and bring it forward to the present is at www.projectpegasus.net, and that will continue to grow. I'll continue to put more information up there about my experiences and about time travel and describe the devices and so forth. My Mars research is at www.projectmars.net, and I'm trying to be eclectic there and just put up the best of my findings and the findings of other prominent Mars anomaly researchers. But these are two areas where the U.S. government has been concealing the nature of our cosmos from human civilization, and that's why I'm focusing on those two areas. Mars is inhabited. The NASA data from the rovers shows that in clear, convincing, and compelling evidence. And
Andy, just quickly, we didn't even really get into or touch Mars, and I'd love to do that possibly on a future show if we could do. I mean, you just have so much information that I think we could fill half a dozen shows quite easily.
Right, I'd be happy to come back, and I'm focusing on Pegasus. I need to get the book written that is completed. I'm going to be soon be going into a sabbatical from my law practice to achieve that. But
yes, you're moving into a cabin in the woods, and we're going to load you up with food and nourishment and some water, and you're just going to stay in the cabin until the book's done.
Yeah, actually, it's going to be a nicer setting than that. I don't want to reveal where it is, but
no, that's fine.
I do pledge to get the book out by middle of next year.
That was an old Facebook joke from your Facebook page. I remember.
I remember that. Yes, I know. And I'm not just trying to create drama. Really, I've just been surviving as a lawyer in solo practice. But the good news is I have the story down, so it's not going to be lost to the sands of time. I mean, the fundamental story about Project Pegasus has already been captured and is in writing. I just have to sort of weave it now into a narrative, a complete narrative. But so that's going to 2011 is going to be the year when my book comes out and shows the world that time travel was achieved 40 years ago, and now we have to demand that the U.S. government acknowledge that it declassify teleportation, and that we begin talking about a global program of technology transfer where we can start relying on teleportation to get from point A to point B on the face of our planet in real time.
That would have a dramatic effect on humanity as a whole. Like just the amount of things we could move to third world countries to help them through the means of teleportation. That's incredible.
Imagine a famine situation. Yeah, imagine a famine situation where you don't lose so much overhead in the administration of the charity, but you simply identify a staging area in an area where the famine is occurring, and you start throwing food provisions through a vortal tunnel in time space. And the aid workers just pick up the food there and distribute it locally. That would be so much more efficient that even the inefficiency of food transport around the world would probably eliminate famine. So yes, there are all kinds of pro-social purposes of teleportation. Of course, we'd have to administer it in a controlled way, just like we administer air travel. We don't let terrorists, criminals, or 3-year-olds fly airplanes, right?
No.
So the administration of teleportations would be, again, on a limited access basis, just like we would want to control chronovision, because if we didn't, there would be no more privacy left in the world. So, but we have to use these technologies basically to force the paradigm shift we're going to have to make to even survive as a planetary civilization, much less thrive in the 21st century.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you for your time, Andrew, and thank you everybody for listening. If you missed the show or any part of the show, you can go to www.spectrumradionetwork.com and click on the archive or past shows there, and you can listen to the full interview. You can go to BBS Radio, and you can click on the archives there. And not only would you hear this show, but you would also hear over 50,000 hours of shows, 10,000 hours with over 50 hosts. So any way you want to listen to the shows, you can listen to them in their entirety. Well, that's it for us, folks. Tom?
Yes, I want to thank you, Andy, for coming on, and hopefully we'll talk again.
Thank you. I look forward. Thanks for having me on.
I look forward to it as well. Thanks, and have a great night, guys. And I'll see you next week.